The Crypt Interviews in association with Mayo Leisure Point Castle Bar.
We have a real treat on the show today because joining me now is one of the best known screen queens, Dee Wallace. Some of her best known movies include The Howling, The Hills Have Eyes, Cujo and Critters, and of course she was a household name for her role as the mom in E.T. So you're very welcome to the show today, Dee.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here with you.
Well, Dee, nowadays, whilst you're still acting, you are an author, motivational speaker and healer. So could you tell me about how you started your spiritual journey?
Well, I think by being born, I think we're all on a spiritual journey, when we come into embodiment. But I used to channel a lot when I was a little girl. Of course, we call it our imagination.
Yeah.
Kids have best friends and hear voices all the time. And then I kind of, because we're taught to, turned it off. And when my husband passed away early from a heart attack, I kind of dropped to my knees and said, I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be a victim. I want a way we can heal ourselves. And those were the magic words. And within seconds, I was getting information and messages about using the light to heal ourselves, and I'm still learning everything that means. But now I have a radio show that spans the entire globe, and I do private sessions daily over the phone and in person, and then I get to go do my acting stuff in between and write books, and I love it all.
And then could you explain to me what conscious creation is?
Yeah, conscious creation, we're all creating, we're creating by breathing, we're creating by being here. We're creating by either making choices or not making choices. So my work is about teaching people to really be conscious of what they're creating, to really choose what they want, get themselves in alignment with what they want, which means I deserve it, and I'm in a state of love around it, and then to really hold their focus on that while they're bringing it into physical manifestation. So many of us, let's take the subject of money, we say we want money while we don't like money. And we don't like money because we're taught not to like money, or we don't like it because we don't have it. And so we're resentful of it. And like any good relationship, that's not going to draw the relationship of money to you, right? So you have to get into a state of loving what you want. That's the easiest way to say it. Love what you want and know that you're worthy of giving that to yourself.
So it's kind of like, putting it out there into the universe, what you want.
Well, you put it out into the universe by knowing it within yourself first, because we literally are the frequency of what we want. So if I want to create more money, I say I am money. Yeah. I am literally the frequency of money itself, and I'm going to love it and feel good about it, and then take action around giving myself more money and allowing it to come into me. But so many people, misinterpret the creation process by waiting. We're waiting for the guides to tell us what to do, or I'm waiting for God to give it to me. And that's not the way it works. We're in embodiment to learn that we have to choose and direct energy toward what we want it to take the physical creation of. And then the universe and the guides and God and the Force, if you're a Star Wars fan, can come forward to create it with you, but not without your choice and direction first.
You mentioned there your ability to channel. So could you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, everybody can channel. The only thing that holds most people back from channeling is the belief that they can't. So again, your energy follows your direction. If you want to learn to channel, you have to start with, I am a channel. And I am a channel who receives the highest information, the highest knowledge, and the highest understanding. That's who I am. That's what I've chosen. That's what I'm committed to. I'm open to the possibility that I absolutely can channel, like Dee Wallace or anybody else that does it, because you can. But it's that self-love and self-trust factor that has to come into alignment so that you can move into the experience of having what you want and being who you want.
I've seen in an interview that you did before that you actually channeled your husband that had passed away.
Oh, yeah. Well, I talk to a lot of people on the other side. I don't call myself a medium. That's not my specialty. But oftentimes, people have passed over when I'm doing a private session. Will come in and make a statement. And, I mean, I've made contact with my mother and my late husband through myself, and of course I've done, a celebrity session with John Edwards and some other mediums. So I can tell you that nobody leaves without choice. We're never going to understand that. But for those of your listeners who have lost people, take peace in the fact that it was their choice on a soul level, and they learned what they needed to learn, and they were ready to go, and they're coming back. So take peace in the fact that something wasn't, even in the case of murder, the channel says, there is a choice in leaving. And I think for me anyway, that gives me a lot of peace. And also, it relieves a lot of guilt for people, because so often they think, oh, I should have done something. I could have saved them. I should have known. I should have intervened. If I just hadn't gone and played baseball, if I just hadn't, wanted them to take me to the store, whatever it is, that's not going to serve you. And it certainly isn't serving them, because that guilt kind of ties them here to helping you,
You mentioned John Edward there. I'd like to ask you about him, because you see so much stuff, in the media saying he's a fraud and everything. So as someone who's worked with him, what would you say to those people?
Absolutely guarantee you he is the real thing. I'm a celebrity. There's a lot of way you can research stuff about me.
Yeah.
But he told me intimate things, specific things that were never print. They're never in print. They were never in an interview.
Yeah. He couldn't have known.
There's no way he could have gotten that information anyway, other than speaking to Christopher on the other side, because my daughter didn't even know these facts. And I owe it to that interview with John that I even wrote my first book, because he kept saying, I see you writing, Dee. And Christopher says, urge her, she's got to go back to her writing. And I said, well, I was writing a book, but it became kind of difficult, and so I put it aside. And he said, no, he's saying, you've got to write that book, pupper. Now, that's what Christopher called me.
Wow.
How are you going to pull that out of your hat?
And it's not a common kind of.
And so I went back and I finished my first book, Conscious Creation, which is all on the creation process.
Wow, that must have been an amazing experience. It must give you such peace.
It does give you peace, because it absolutely lets you know you're never separated, you're never apart. We're all just one big pot of energy. And we stay connected, we keep connected. I oftentimes just look up and go, Christopher, you got to come down and be here for your kid. You got to give her some guidance here. You got to give her some strength.
Well, now you mentioned your first book there, Conscious Creation. Is it 5 books you have in total?
I believe so. Yes. Conscious Creation and Bright Light, Getting Stuff, The Biggie, and Wake Up Now. And I just started my next one.
The Biggie, that's all about energy, isn't it?
Well, actually, they're all about energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wrote it with my friend Jared Hewitt. And I kind of call it our toilet book because it's a great book to keep by your bed or by the toilet and read a short little excerpt in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about the sayings that we were raised with and taught and what they really mean in a spiritual sense and how our parents and religion use them as more of a control factor in raising us. And it's very insightful. It's a lot of fun, and it's a real easy read because you can just do, a couple of pages at a time, and you've got a complete message there. Bright Light, of course, is my autobiography, told through all of the big films and directors that I've worked with, and incorporates all the spiritual lessons that I've learned in my life as an actress. So they're all quite different and stand on their own.
And of course, they're all available on Amazon, I presume?
They are. They're available on Amazon, and they're available on my site. If you want me to inscribe them for you, you can order them at imdwallace.com.
And then, of course, if people wanted to have a session with you or that, through the website to contact you as well?
Yes, and I do. I do private sessions all over the world.
That's fantastic now that you can do that with Skype and everything.
Yeah, Skype and WhatsApp, and we figure it out. The point is, if you want to do it, my specialty, Rita, is I'm able to ask what people want answers to, and the channel gives me direct answers to what's in their way, where the blocks are in them, if it's their little child still running the show, because that's always, if you're fighting yourself, look to what you were taught as a child and how you want to expand out of that, because usually what we're taught, our brains are pretty much cemented by the time we're 6 years old. And how we see ourselves, how we see the world, how we see the world seeing us, all done pretty much by 6 years old. If we feel safe in the world and how powerful we give ourselves permission to be, pretty much done by 6 years old. So people have to go back and look at what we were taught, what messages we were given, what was modeled in front of us, and you'll get a pretty clear idea about why you're fighting what you want now. And the challenge is to get all of you integrated so that all of you is saying, yes, I'm doing this.
And of course, speaking of children there, you have a fabulous little teddy bear on the market.
I do. It's called Bupalopaloo, and its sole purpose is to teach children to love themselves, which we were never taught. We were taught not to particularly love ourselves because God and society were going to accept us a lot more if we put ourselves last. And so this little bear has 10 empowering messages, and the child pushes the little paw, and the bear says things like, I love my body, and I am so loved in the world. And I encourage the parents to teach the child to say it back to the bear, because that then is building their brain synapses for later in life, so that this is an inherent part of who they are. They are available on Amazon right now, Amazon.
Are they available on your website as well?
If you email me and express some interest, yes, they're $30, and then we'll discuss how you would like to order them and all that.
You mentioned your radio show earlier. So,
Yes.
Could you tell me a bit more about the radio show?
Oh, yeah. Very empowering hour. A lot of people call it their Sunday spiritual church. It's a free call-in show. You can call in and ask the channel guidance about absolutely anything. And it's on at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Sunday mornings. There are archives. You can get them on iTunes. You can get them on iHeartRadio, which is pretty much worldwide, I think.
Yeah.
Both of those. And all the archives are also on my website. Extremely powerful way to keep reminding yourself to love yourself, choose what you want, come forward for yourself, and be the powerful you that really that's why you're here, is to learn how to do that.
As I said in the introduction, you're still acting. So
yes.
Have you any upcoming projects you'd like to mention?
I have a fabulous, if you're into horror,
but of course,
a fabulous new horror film on Netflix called Red Christmas.
Oh,
it's a Christmas horror film. You're going to love it. We did it in Australia. Very proud of my work. It's a real tour de force part that I was able to do in Australia. I have a film coming out worldwide in limited release, but worldwide, called Death House.
Dying for that film. So many legends in it.
There's a lot of iconic horror film actors in that project, for sure. And then I have a beautiful, those of you who have Amazon Prime over there, I have a beautiful series for children and families called Just Add Magic. Beautiful show that you can sit down and watch with your kids. It's one of Amazon's top views in America, and I'm quite proud of all my work in that too. And I'm waiting for an offer to come in for a beautiful little film that I'm going to shoot in Nashville in the next 3 weeks. So just very exciting. You know, my life is very full. I get to do all the things I love to do. And for those of you who think you can't do it all, you can. As long as you tell yourself, I am doing it all. I am doing all the things I love to do.
And then, do you do any convention appearances?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be over in the UK twice this year.
Oh, no way.
I haven't been over in Europe for years and years and years, and I'm outside, so I can't pull. One of them is in May, one of them is in December. I'm really excited to be back in Europe because I have a lot of fans there, and I hope you all come see me. I just love to meet you. And Ireland, I want you to know, is the place on my bucket list.
Oh, fantastic.
It's the one country I haven't gotten to that I really want to go visit.
And then, of course, I have to ask you, what would be your fondest memory from filming E.T.?
Oh, my gosh. I don't know if I can give you a fondest. I think, you know, this is going to be a strange answer, but where my heart went was watching the kids play together and be together when we weren't filming. And there were a lot of little people on the set that were in E.T.'s costume. There was a little boy with no legs that got around on a skateboard and that fit into E.T.'s costume. Actually, that's how we got E.T.'s walk, is they would put him in upside down and he would walk on his hands.
Oh, my God.
But in between shooting, all of them came together in such love and such joy with each other, playing basketball in Foursquare and all that. I think really that's one of I have a lot of fond memories about, my favorite scene is when I'm reading Peter Pan to Gertie, because Peter Pan's one of my favorite things. And, but just the beauty and innocence of all these kids playing together is where my heart went when you asked me that. We really need to get back to some of that purity and that love and the beautiful messages. Did you have, what's the name of the movie now? Wonder. Did you see Wonder with the
No.
little boy with the disfigured face?
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh, you guys, beautiful, beautiful film. Make sure you see it. It's one of those films like E.T. that raises your consciousness and just makes you feel good.
Oh, I'll definitely check that out. Well, listen, Dee, before I let you go, can people follow you on social media?
Oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. Yes. Twitter and Instagram, and I think it's D_Wallace. I'm all over Facebook. I have a personal one and a fan one. I'm not one to post a lot of my personal stuff, but I post a lot of special pictures with friends and my beautiful daughter, Gabrielle Stone, who's also an actress, and, some upcoming things that I'm doing. I try to stay very present. So, yeah, please join me on social media.
Fantastic. Well, Dee, thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, it's been such a lovely, lovely visit with you, Rita. Thank you so much for reaching out.
The Crypt Interviews in association with Mayo Leisure Point Castle Bar.